goodness, this is taking a lot of work to get this done tonight. Copy. Okay. Hey, Elizabeth. Sorry, I am really fighting this. I'm all set up at home, and I'm really fighting the technology here tonight. So, sorry for running late. I'm going to get everybody invited in here in just a second. Let me know if you can hear me, obviously. I have to use two different computers here at home, and it's ridiculous. Okay, and then let me very quickly send an email with our link on here to Elizabeth is already here. Francis, Christine, Bill, Laura, L-A-P-E-L-E, Mike. Checked. Hotel, California. Okay, link, colon. Okay, and I gotta come back over here. We're gonna get everybody in here, guys. I swear. I apologize. Copy. Why isn't that working? Copy. Paste. Jeez, shouldn't take twice. Okay, and then move all these guys here. There's that. All right, so I think that's everybody. I hope. Gosh, goodness sakes. Box. Sent. All right, let's see. What else am I forgetting to do? Sorry, guys. Let's see. Yes, the sound is good. I didn't get an email with a link. I just came to the YouTube. Yeah, I just sent the email. It's been a little bit of a comedy of errors here. So, all right. So I got everybody notified both on the website and on email. So we'll wait just a minute or two, and then we'll get everybody in here, and then we'll get started. Got to get my guitar in and got to get my sheet music set up. My goodness, I'm a mess. I should have known when I came home and there was chaos that we were going to run into this. So, this down here, I got a guitar, got my thing. Okay, so there's that. Let me get set down here. We'll have to, let's see, will that work? That looks okay, doesn't it? Yeah, that'll be fine. Footstool here. And in just a second, my sheet music should be coming up. Hope you're well, Elizabeth. Hope things are kind of like that computer situation was kind of rough. Get this. I want to make a bunch of noise at your house. So hold on a second. That's going to have to sit there tonight. Sorry, it's probably making a lot of noise at your house, I'm guessing. Sorry about that. Let me go find some cheap music to play here. Let's see. Pele, you made it in. Yay. Drips, who are you? Drips, glad you're here. Let's see, where's my, there it is. There we go. 9 pages tonight, right? Let's see. What else should I talk about? We've got a couple minutes. We'll let everybody take it just a second to get in here. What is 8:09 already? We'll start in a minute. There's that. Okay, reduce this size. And if we can get my foot pedal turned on, we will be in great shape. We will be really great. Okay. Turn that on. Always takes a minute or two to get all this stuff up and running. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we got 6 people in. Good. Good news. Okay. Let's see. Quite a setup. The setup here is so inferior to the one over at the office, but I gotta come home sometime. All right. For some reason, my pedal's not hooking up. Click here. I'm connecting. All right. Finally. All right. I'm officially ready to start. And then I'm noticing I'm wearing my t-shirt instead of my fancy stuff. So you're going to have to make it live with me like this. Sorry. All right. Bill's in. Hey, Bill. All right. Let's get going. I apologize. I'm running super late tonight. Big, long story. Doesn't matter. Let's talk about Hotel California. So Hotel California, obviously, I post the link on the website for a short amount of time. I always take it off right after this. And so we may have a few people drop it in who are not part of our system, and that's okay. DenverGuitarOrchestra.com is where all of our stuff is from, and you had to pre-order your sheet music for this session. So if you neglected to get your sheet music, then you can probably sit and watch. I don't know what you're going to do. This song oddly attracts a very guitarish kind of people, and I am for better and for worse, right? It's a good song, and so what I want to do tonight, because I'm not, this is a 2-week song, okay? So we have 9 pages to get through, and I'd like to kind of break it into sections and talk about those sections and figure out what you can do as a player in each of these sections to create a playable piece on your level. So for some of you, that might just be singing the song, right? Singing the song, strumming the chords, and that should be plenty. That in and of itself would be great. The chords are very, very close to what the Eagles used. I don't believe anywhere in here I had to overly simplify anything. And I think we basically went with standard issue chords. It's important to note that this song was written in E minor, and then they put a capo all the way down here on 7, and then played E minor way up here. So that's why you get that real high bell-like sound in the guitars that they are using. And so just know that if you're looking for that sound, that's up here, and you're not going to get that on this piece of sheet music because I've set it in the same key, but I've set it up in our standard positions down here on 2. And so for 2 reasons. One, when you have an electric guitar and you have a capo on 7, you still got kind of a shooting, you still got a pretty good chance of making it sound pretty nice. When you have an acoustic guitar, you sound ridiculous. And so and frankly, anytime we use a capo, there's a big question mark in my head about whether we need to fire you or not. If you're a singer, you use a capo. Otherwise, as a guitarist, I just don't know why you would do that. Second thing about the arrangement is that in addition to it being being a capo on 7, an electric guitar can do things that an acoustic guitar can't. And so if you watch the video, they got 4 electric guitars doing what they're doing, and you have 1 acoustic guitar. So you already know that you're going to need to make some compromises in what it sounds like. What I've done here, I've given you an introduction that basically gives you the sense of that intro. It's not note for note by a long shot, and so it's designed to get you kind of close. I would, if I were you, really listen to that MP3 a whole mess of times so that you can get a sense of what's supposed to be happening there in that intro. After that, it's pretty straightforward. Play the melody, play the chords, play the tough acts, whichever is your style, whichever is on your, whatever level you're working at. And that goes for basically 2 pages. Well, really 3, right? You have 3 pages of that. The Welcome to Hotel California section, that begins at measure 41 at the bottom of page 3. So when you get to the Hotel California section, I would probably treat that as its own section. And so I would be treating the introduction as something to work on. And maybe I work on it, maybe I don't. When I was on piano, I always just skipped over all introductions and went straight to where the lyrics are, because that's where the song's going to start making sense. So you've got your intro, and then you have your first verse. Then you have the Hotel California section, which you're going to play twice in this song. It's very unusual. These days, no one would write a song like this. These days, the hook is everything, so they repeat the same thing over and over and over, half a dozen times at least, so that you'll get that song stuck in your head and buy it, apparently, or they can sell it to an advertising company. But this one, they only do the chorus twice. They Welcome to the Hotel California. Then they're going to do verse 2. They're going to come back and do Welcome to Hotel California a second time, and then that's it. So that section, you're going to play it twice, and I would study it as a separate item. I do have a typo at measure 56. It should say to number 89. Okay, so you might want to make a note on your sheet music. That typo, I'm sending you to the wrong measure when we get there. And the time you will use that is the second time, at the end of the second Welcome to the Hotel California. Then you will jump to 89. So in other words, the first time through, you can ignore that piece of information. When you come back to play Hotel California again, then the second time after the second chorus, then you're going to jump to measure 89. Okay? What happens down there at measure 89 is that's where the final verse happens, and they have a verse at the end of this song that leads just into the conclusion. So they don't repeat the chorus a third time, which is, no one would write a song like that anymore for popular music. Okay, and so just know you're going to play 3 verses, 1 before Hotel California, 1 right before you repeat it, and then a third verse at the end for no reason. The other typo, because that first typo was created by when I added in the intro, I had another typo. Measure 88. It should say to number 41 instead of 33. So you're going to go to 41 instead of 33. So that's when you get down there, you're going to go back to number 41, which is where the Hotel California section starts, and then you'll play that. Last time through, you'll jump to measure 89, like I told you, and you're going to play that to the end. And I would treat this as its own section as well. In the recording and in the presentation of the song, they slow this section down. The third verse is quite a bit, is noticeably slower than the first two. But it's not really that they're slowing the tempo down, it's that the words become a little more sparse and the music gets a little more spread apart. And so it's going to feel slower when it probably really isn't supposed to. And that's going to be the third section. And then finally, the last section, which we may or may not get to on page 9, this is an outro. And if you watch the recordings, they do this very beautiful Spanish feeling thing, but it takes several guitars to pull it off well. I watched, I don't know how many hundreds of videos trying to get this thing together. And that beautiful outro is really quite nice. But really, what all they're doing is playing some chords to get out of it. And so I gave you the basic set of chords and giving you an arpeggio pattern to play through there, and it'll give you the sense of what's going on in Hotel California. For those of you who adore this song, and it has to be a certain way, it has to be the song you remember from your childhood. Just know this is not that one. And so if it has to be that one, then this is probably not the song for you. Um, a lot of people have a lot of reverence for the Eagles and this song in particular. It's sort of like me with Led Zeppelin and Stairway to Heaven. It's going to be a long time before I am able to finish up my arrangement of Stairway to Heaven because I want it to be exactly what it's supposed to be in my head. And Hotel California, some of you may have that same vision of this song. To me, it's just another song. I don't really care about the Eagles, and I don't really care about this song. I got to close like I always do. Get the big idea, make it as playable as possible, and move on. Final thing I'll say before we actually dig in is that this piece would be a whole lot easier in a different key, which is where I started. And the problem is it just wasn't sounding right to me, and so I wanted to put it in A minor. It was working pretty well. But it just never really came together the way I wanted it to. So I put it in B minor, which is the original key of the song, and it works. Okay, all right. So let's go through. What I want to do tonight is skip the intro. Okay, the intro is one of those things where you're going to have to memorize your hand position and uh, and then memorize the pattern. It's each measure is a slightly different pattern, and so it's not like an arpeggio where you're just going to do the same thing over like the outro is. This part you're going to have to really memorize your hand positions, and then the biggest challenge is it's all eighth notes, right? So you don't have a ton of time to switch from one thing to another. So play the intro slowly lots of times until you really have it. And by slowly, I mean half speed. I mean really slowly. And so, for example, measure number 1, you've got to hold this 7 with your ring finger on 9. Okay, that's going to be your first thought. 9, 7, 7, 7, and then you can't camp out on that 7. You have to immediately be on this 10, 12, 11. And so as soon as you hit that 7, you're going to be pulling your fingers up to the 10, 12, 11, and getting that. So in other words, in order for that to come off correctly, you got to play it at much slower speed than you may want to in order to have enough time to get it in there. And I'll do it one more time. Joe messed up my fingering. Okay, so one more time at that speed. Ready, play. So that's going to be your first idea. And like I say, you've got to get from 7 to 10 with no pause in the music. It's got to be consistent all the way through there. I guess since I've started, let's go ahead and do a few more bars of it. The next thing is 4, 6, 7. You're probably going to grab your index finger to get the 4. It's on the 4th string. And then 7, 6, 7 is going to look like this. It's really kind of awkward. 4, 6, 6, and 7. And again, It's not really an arpeggio, but it's going to feel like that a little bit. 4, 6, 7, 6, 6. Okay, now it's starting to sound like Hotel California a little bit. So then you've got a half note rest at the beginning. I'm sorry, eighth note rest at the beginning of that measure, and then it's going to be 4, 6, 7, 6, 6. Now you have two eighth note rests, so now you got a second to rethink where you're at. You're going to bar 2 and put your. You're probably not going to do that. You're going to put your 2 here. You're probably going to have to bar this with your pinky. Okay, we've never had to do that. Okay, and so it's going to be a little bit challenging. You're going to put your 2 on the third string, and then use your pinky to bar those 2 bottom 5s, and probably play it that way. Okay, and again, you can't play so fast because the next thing you got to do is get to 9, 10, 9, which is a G shape on 9. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, you see how slowly I'm playing it, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, is play it slowly enough where we can get this 2, 5, 5. That's the next motion, and I would be thinking of those in shapes rather. Who cares what the notes are, right? Who cares? We just care about the riff. Okay, and it's 2, 5, 5, 5, 9, 10, 9. Next, then you got an eighth note rest, so you got a second to reset. You don't really need it now because you've got 2s and 0s. Okay, so you're gonna go grab your 2. Again, right? Put your pinky there. Can you play the 11 and 12 on 7, then just pinky the 10? Truthfully, Christy, I have not spent a good amount of time rethinking fingering, and that might make perfect sense, right? If something's not comfortable for you here, bring it up, use lower strings and bring it up here. So if you're like, well, this and you're talking, I think about the 2, 5, 5. If that sucks, so take this note 2, move it to the 4th string. It's right here. It's on 7, which is what Christy's talking about, right? And then your next 2 notes are these 5s. So you would want to bring those up. They're on 9, right? Christy's probably already figured all this out. 7, 9, 7, 9, 10, right? Is that what you got? Oh, and in measure 1, for measure 1, you want to do that up there. Yeah, find something that's a little easier for you. If it is easier for you, as you guys know, I tend to really emphasize lower positions if I can, because I don't have a huge problem being at a lower position and then jumping up to a higher position, or being in a high position and jumping to a lower position. Sometimes I overemphasize the need to be in open positions. If, on the other hand, you find it more convenient to keep your hands, closer down here, then absolutely do it. And what you can sense, as exactly what Christy's talking about here, they had a capo on 7. Well, guess what's happening? It's all making a whole lot more sense from minimizing the amount of finger craziness you have to do by playing at 7 or above, and that's because they had a capo on there. So it makes sense that you would probably find those. What I can do for you guys is I will go through and rethink what Christy's saying here and see if I can't get it where all of the notes are here tighter. Might make it a tiny bit easier to play, and I think yeah, I mean that absolutely makes some sense, right? So I like what I got here. I think it's probably the easiest to play in terms of lower chord positions. But we'll also look at moving everything up towards 7 and above and see what happens to the fingering. So I'll do that for you guys this week and send it back out to you and let you know what I think. Smart thinking, Christy, by the way. All right, measure 5. I've got 5, 4, 3, 4. So the challenge here is you've got 5 here. And I can't remember if I have to use my pinky. 5. What am I doing here? 5. Where am I? 5, 4, 3, 4. Oh, this is your F sharp here. G. It's a G chord. So you're just doing a little bar on 2 here and here. So 3 and 4 and 5. Just a little bar. Just this F shape, but it's on 3. And then you're going to go. That's a G chord through that little section. Then you're going to go to a D chord here at measure 6. Open. 2, 3, 2. Push it up and make a little bit of a bend on it. Okay. Just throwing out options. Yeah, no, Chris, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I mean, when I write this stuff, I have a certain mindset, and that's why we do this stuff, is so that you guys can say, Gary, you're an idiot. Do it this way. Okay. No, you didn't say that, but that's I appreciate the fact that sometimes you're thinking, you know what, I can find easier fingerings in a different location, and let's try them and see which ones are easier. Measure 7, we got that 2 with the opens again, so grab the 2, and then down here on the zeros, and there's that 3, 5, 4. And notice that shape there, it's just a D minor, but it's on 3. Okay, so that makes it an E minor. And then got a little eighth note rest, and then you're going to do 4, 6, 7, 6, 6. And that's what we already did before, 4, 6, and 7. And this is, again, not necessarily easy to do fingering, and so we may find a place up here that is a little easier to do that, and I'll look at that tonight or tomorrow and see if I can't come up with a different choice, give you 2 choices for it. Okay, and then here's the 4, 6, 7. Oops, I got it on backwards. Sorry. 4, 6, 7, 6, 6, 6. Okay. Now that last 6 there, you're not lazy. Christy says she's lazy. Christy is the least lazy musician that I know. Well, that's not true. Elizabeth is probably the least lazy musician I know. Christy's number 2. If you keep working, Christy, you can get there. All right, so that's the intro. To be honest, I'm probably not going to work very hard on that intro. It's a lot of work for a very minimal result. I want to get into this song. Okay, so if you love this song and you're like, yep, that intro is important to me, I want to make it sound as good as I can. Or if you would love this song and you're like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this song, I might as well work on that section. I think if you listen to the MP3, the result is actually pretty nice. It's got a pretty nice little pattern to it and worth working on. Okay, but now let's get into the song. Okay, here's what's nice. The first verse, second verse, and last verse are all pretty similar. So if you learn the first verse, you're going to be in pretty good shape for the rest of it. The challenge is that I think it's Don Henley that sings it, and he doesn't necessarily have a great rhythm, and he doesn't necessarily start on the right note and all this stuff. I think as a singer, he's got a cool voice, but in terms of his technical singing skills, little moments of iffiness, right? And so there are places where the note doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. So what I think when we get to this section, measure 9, I really do think you want to put a B minor shape on. Okay, and I tried not having bars on here because originally I had done it in A and I didn't need bars. Well, now when I move it to B, now I'm almost required to use bars. And I for sure think that using this plucking style is going to make a lot of sense in most of the cases on this. But you can for sure try. 2 is not too bad. Yeah, 2, right? 2 is okay. We'll live with 2. I think probably you want to pluck this song, but you might try strumming it. try it both ways. Find your way of doing it. I do think that it's open for interpretation, and I was thinking of it as a plucking song, but you might find it more success in strumming. So let's go through. Let's go through a couple of. Let's go for a little ways and let's just talk about stuff. So you're going to start with the first chord at full B minor, I think, and then you hit those twos. Then the challenge with a full bar is, of course, then you got to lift up the full bar to get the zero. If you can just lift up like this and get that first string open without losing your bar, it will help keep the strings ringing, and that would be a technique that'll make it sound a little bit, keep the notes connected a little better. So again, first measure. You're already holding the 3 down, so you don't need to worry about that one. And then you're going to strum it again, but you have to leave that 0 open, and then put your bar back down. Okay, so that's probably how I would recommend doing it. If you don't use a full bar, you can use just a one finger there, but then just make sure you don't hit the 5th string, or that's not going to sound good. That A is going to sound terrible. So this would be your other choices. Just your A shape still, but just use one finger on there, and it's going to it'll sound a little thinner because you're losing the B note on this 5th string, but it'll probably make playing it easier. Okay, so let me try that way. And then maybe put the full bar on at that point. Okay, couple of choices for you. You kind of figure out what is going to make the most sense for you. Then it's 0, 2, 3. These little do-do-dos at the end of each, a lot at the end of the measures. They're kind of fun. That sounds like Hotel California, doesn't it? 0, 2, 3. Now, I have made the decision that I'm going to play this with this basic F shape on 2. Okay, so I'm going to use 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and I think it's enough. But you should absolutely feel like if you want to put that full bar on there and put on a full F sharp, so it's an F chord on the 2nd fret, you can do that. You get a lot more oomph in this lower register. Okay. And you can do that. I, after having played it both ways several times, decided it was just more work than I was getting any benefit from. But just know that that's absolutely possible to do that and put on a full bar. I'm just telling you, I'm just doing your basic 4 strings, and I think it's enough. Okay, so that's what the arrangement says. Obviously, feel free to noodle with that and figure out what's best for you. And so then let's play measure 11. You got to slide up to get that 3. And then slide back to, or then jump to an A chord, sorry. There. And I just hit all, I did not have my 2 down. So just make sure that you got to get that 2 down. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong measure. I hit the 1st string, shouldn't have, okay? Warm spell of, slide up to get the 3, co, and then come back, lead, now cover the 2. Okay, so let's play that whole those first 4 or 5 measures there from 9. So let's go from 9 to 13. 9, let's go 9 through 14. Okay, from the number 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Oh, that's why I forgot to talk about this. The F sharp 7 in measure 12. Just a little bar with your middle finger on the 3rd string on 3. That's why I was like, something doesn't sound right. Okay, so that's this moment where you get that real 7th-y sound, and it's going to help pull you through into the next, get you to the A. So I apologize, I forgot to talk about 12. Let's start from the measure 9 again. Grab your B minor. I always look in the camera like, where's my B minor? I should probably look over here. That's where it's going to be. From measure 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now grab your A chord, leave the bottom string open. Hold down your 2 here, so just roll it down a little. You got this little run again. So we're starting to see that this is going to make sense with the whole song, I hope. Okay, so now when we go on to page 2, we're going to go that dun, 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 and then you're going to grab an E chord, thank God, right? Finally, it's going to be nice and pleasant. Okay, and then use your pinky on those 2s. Big strum here, then 0, 3, and then a full E again. But now notice he's got the da-da-dum, rising through the air is how he sings it. And so you have to kind of get that same idea with your guitar, air. And so you're going to go bum, bum, bum. So you want to get on that 3 pretty quickly. And then you can do a little run again. 0, 2, 3. You get a nice normal G chord with the bottom open. I've been pulling my ring finger back to play these 2. And then 0, 3. And then go to a G chord with a full G chord except the total open bottom. Sounds nice. And again, I think if you play this slow, it's going to be just as good as if you try to play it at the speed that they usually do it at. 0, 2, 3. Grab the D chord. And then sound like a nice bright ending to that. And then play the melody. D chord again. 0, 3. Use your ring finger here. 0, 2, 0. Okay. Whom. It's a D chord, but it's definitely, you've got this B note hanging out in there, which it doesn't belong there. So that's a I think an 11th note. D, E, F, G, A, B. It's some type of, it's a 7th note actually. Okay, whatever. We don't need to name it. Then 0, 2, 3. And then we finally get to a nice E minor. Just do 4 strings because the melody note's on the 2nd string. Full E chord. 3, 0, 3. Another full E chord, E minor. And then this is, you've got to get your pinky onto the bottom string. If you grabbed your E minor, you can with these 2, which is probably a superior choice. Then you've got both your ring and pinky available to do the melody stuff. Where am I? Major 22. And the sights grew dim. That's what's going on there. Go grab your F sharp, whatever you decide to do here. I had to stop open for the. I sound it goes real high there. It sounds a little weird. And then night. I should stop and just point out we've been kind of hacking our way through a bunch of triplets along here. So just notice in the standard notation line up there that measures 15, measures 19, measures 23, that we got triplets in there. So we're going to be smashing 3 words usually, or 3 syllables into the space that normally would contain 2. So when you get to those triplets, and you'll know it from this song. If you haven't listened to the song enough, go listen to it. Go know it. One of you guys sent me a note today. Says, I don't really know this song very well. And all I did was send back a link to YouTube, right? You got to listen to it a few times in order for this to start to come together. And so if you don't know the song, go listen to the original. I'm pretty close to the original. Okay, and in the original, there's a lot of triplets in there. Ba 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 bum. Okay, I had to stop for the night. So stop for the is three spaces and three notes in the space of two. Um, a bad thing is happening here, and I gotta step away for just a second. My cat is desperate to get out, and he's starting to squeal. So hold on one second. Oh gosh, this world we're living in. That was Henry. Henry was making a big mess. He's not a Hotel California fan. All right, so we're ended at measure 24. Okay, measure 25. This little figure is going to, at the end of 24, this 2, 2, 5, that's going to come up quite often in the song. The 6, you can feel the tension in that. That's really leading you right back to the B minor. That's what that note is doing right there. Bum, blum. So when you see that 6, it's an important moment in the song to really make sure you hit that solid, um, so that you can get that beautiful resolution after that. Okay, measure 25. We got this B minor. Okay, again, don't hit the first string. Throughout the song, he consistently doesn't sing on the first beat. He either comes in at an eighth note later or a full quarter note later. So just know you got plenty of time to be lazy, get that chord in, and then jump back into melody. Okay, in this case, a full B minor makes sense. Hit the 2s. There she stood, open in the doorway. And again, I'm just raising my bar up just a little bit. I'm trying to keep the most of the bar intact. I'm just opening up that first string to play that. Doorway, and then 0, 2, 3. F sharp again. 2, 2, 2. And here's this triplet. Let's see if we can make it sound right. Bum, 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 bum. And you gotta go to it. I don't know why I was grabbing that at A. You gotta get to the F sharp 7. Okay, so you gotta move quickly through these little guys. Let's try it one more time from 17. 27. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to be a little bit more sprightly, a little bit faster through those triplets. Push them. Okay, easy to talk about, a little harder to do. And then 2, 3, 0. Measure 29, a beautiful A chord here. Love this moment. And then he takes forever to come in there. So it's a full half note or full quarter note rest here. 2 and I. Okay, nice A chord. Was thinking. Page 3. Back to your A chord. To my roll down to grab the 2. Self, this could be. You're gonna go grab that E chord and put your pinky on 2. Heaven, or this could be hell. 3. Whoops, I blew it. Hell. So you're gonna use your pinky to grab that 3. Hell. 0, 2, 3. Grab a nice G chord. Then she. What am I doing? Put your ring finger under. Then she lit up a candle. 0, 2, 3. And D chord. Nice D chord. And she showed me the way. 0, 2, 3. E minor. There were voices down the corridor. F sharps or F sharp. I thought I heard pinky them out. Say 2, 2, 6. Now, that 6 is only an eighth note 6, right? But at that moment, I'm for sure going to pull that longer. Unless I'm playing with a group, like if we were to play this in orchestra, uh, we'd all have to treat that as an eighth note. But you don't as a soloist. Let it ring, right? You're about to go into Welcome to the Hotel California. So make that a big deal. Maybe put a little vibrato on it, turn it into this great moment because your whole audience knows exactly what's about to happen next. And so you want to hold it back just a little bit. Don't give it to them too quickly because they're going to start judging you, right? and so give them a moment of here it comes, welcome to the hotel. Okay, so now verse 1, verse 2, almost identical, so we're not going to go through the second verse, but we do need to walk through the Hotel California thing. What time is it? 8:49. We'll probably go for another 10 minutes or so, guys. Our plan is that next Thursday night we're just going to play this sucker. Okay, so this week hopefully you've been diving into it already. Hopefully I'm just saying stuff you've already discovered, but the idea this week will be now that we all have a pretty good sense of what we're dealing with, and Christy and I figure out a better fingering for everything. But if we find better fingering, obviously I'll send you out an addendum. But what we want to do is just spend the week. We got a whole week on this thing. I think 9 pages deserves 2 weeks of study here, and both the Monday session, the midday Monday sessions, Thursday nights, and Friday midday sessions. We're going to be covering this again. So there'll be a lot of video on there. And if you're struggling on some part, come listen to one of my videos. See if we can all agree on the best way to approach this. And again, guys, some of you are not tough axe players yet, and that is absolutely fine. Just play the melody, doggone it. Grab the MP3, slow it down if you have to, and just play the melody until you are Don Henley. Right? Just play that and along with the MP3. You really want to play along with the MP3 because you don't have another guitar player sitting at the house with you. Well, a couple of you. Well, one of you has an exception. If you have another guitar player, they can strum these chords 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you play the melody. But if you don't have that, use the MP3 because it serves the same purpose to just play along to the MP3 with the melody. And a lot of times people give me the sense that they think that that's sort of cheating, or it's not real guitar playing, or it's a little bit too easy, or something. They feel a little guilty about doing that. And I am the opposite of that. Because I know who makes the money, and the guy who makes the money in the band is almost always the lead guitar player. And the lead guitar player almost always, when he's making him or herself famous, playing straight line melody, right? So don't think that that's nothing. Jimmy Page, go watch him. Melody, melody, melody. Go watch Eddie Van Halen, tons of melody, right? Watch Slash, doing these cool riffs, one note at a time. And that's what it's a benefit to us because they all have a pick, right? Note one, so they can only do one note at a time. And that makes it a little easier on us when we come to it and we're trying to put their individual notes in with the rhythm guitar player as well. But please know that even though I am primarily spend all my time talking about tough acts, that's not really necessarily what you should be playing. You should be playing it if you want to be a solo player and you want to make this song come to life, then you do that. Okay. Otherwise, melody or playing chords, perfectly fine. Okay. Let's go into the Welcome to the Hotel California section. Okay. Starts with a G chord, and I would do this G chord with both fingers down. Okay. You're gonna need them down, so just put your ring finger there and your pinky finger there on these two, and I think it'll be better. Okay. Strum the first little bit. Welcome to the hotel, and then you go slide up to 5, and then you're going to grab a D chord but add your pinky. California, 2, 3, strum. That's just typical finger style addition, right? They didn't do that. We're doing that. And then hit the 3 again. So it's basically just a little arpeggio jump there to fill up that big old long space. Such a, go to your F sharp, however you're chosen to do that. Lovely place, such a, on to page 4. Lovely place, such a, and then you're going to switch to your B minor here. Love, keep your first string open. Face, I don't know why he says face, that's so weird. O for strum for 4, just to finish up the thought again, just filling in notes for that big old long section where there's no melody going on or nothing going on in there. So just find something that sounds cool to you. I gave you what I think sounds cool, but you don't have to do that exactly if you don't want to. Okay, then you're gonna hit that 3 again. You're already holding it down. We're there. There's plenty of room. Is that where we're at? There's. Go grab your full G chord again. Plenty of room at the hotel. Grab the 5. I added those zeros above the 5 on the second time through to give it a little bit more depth. You could probably do that on the first 5 as well. I thought it was more fun to do a single 5 and then add a bunch of zeros on the 5 on the second pass. But you can just, you can decide. You can play what's written. It sounds. It just gives a little bit bigger feeling the second time you come around. Hit the 3, and then that D chord again with your pinky on 3. 2, 3, measure 52. Am I reading that right? 52 has a that just a D chord and the 3 again, so exactly the same thing we did before. I will mention on 51, the D chords there, I got them including the A note. Again, I was trying to make the sound bigger there, so I added in the A's. Having played through it a bunch this week, I think maybe not. Maybe don't play this 5th string in there. Just play the 0, 2, 3, 2, or 0, 2, 3, 3 first. I thought I was going to add some depth in by adding in the A string, but it seems like it's sort of pulling it in a direction that I don't really like it to go. So you think about that. 2, 3, D chord. Okay, now we're going to go to the pickup to 53. 2, 2. Grab your E minor and your ring finger, probably. Lovely play, or any time of year. 2, 2. Any time of year you can. There, 3 is important there. And then go to the F sharp. Find it here. 4, 3, 2, 2. I made the first 4 there because we're just filling up space here. I wanted to jump on that pretty quickly because I want to have a little bit extra time at the end of measure 56 to get my head back on to go into the next part of it. Okay, so I would treat that section there. You're going to play that section twice in the song, so that's a great section to work through. It's actually easier than the verses to play, and so, which isn't surprising. I mean, most of the time the choruses are a little easier to play than the verses. So hopefully that is making sense pretty well. Verse 1 and verse 2 are the same. And so there's a few variations in melody there, not worth really going into here. And so I'm not going to go through any of that tonight. Let's drop all the way down to 89. Go to 89. And that's your third verse. That's after you're going to play all the way down to 88. Go back, play Hotel California again, and then you're going to jump down to 89. Now, the nice part about 89 is it's a little different. The words get a little sparse, so it feels like it's slowing down. So whatever speed you've been playing it at, it's okay to just kind of dial it back here a little bit and slow it down just a little bit, and it'll sound nice. Okay, I think we'll just play through it a little bit and just see if there's anything else I need to talk about. So start at 89. 1, 2, 3, 4. 93. And on those A chords, I could be adding my pinky on to get that. I'm finding I'm rolling my ring finger down to get it. Probably cleaner to add your pinky, but because I'm lazy, I'm rolling down my fingers to cover that. Either of those choices are just fine. I'd probably be thinking about adding my pinky. And then let's go to what's the next page? 90, 95. It's getting too dark in here. I can't see anything. There we go. Put some light on, Gary. There's 95. Okay, you're onto your E chord. Of our own device. 0, 2, 3. G chord. And in the master's chambers. There's a lot of busyness that goes on there. D chord. They gathered for the feast. 0, 2, 3. Go to your E minor. They stab it with their stealing knives, and then open, but they just can't kill the beast. Okay, that's an odd little verse there. 2, 2, 6. Okay, and again, that 6 is important because it pulls you into the next idea. The next idea is the same as the idea we just played through. So a lot of repetition, a lot of stuff. Once you see it once, you'll be like, okay, I got it. And the melody does have a few variations in there. Okay. Let's see. How do I put my fingers on the second note of 90? Okay, so Francis is talking about measure 90. Francis, I was hoping I could just squeeze by there and not have you notice that. Measure 90 on that first BM with yeah. So here's what I've been doing. It drives me bananas. It's the wrong stinking note. And I checked it 100 times, and it is exactly what he's doing there. So you've got your B minor on there. See, I was trying to avoid you guys. There's not a solution for it, right? There isn't. Okay, so you've got this. You coming in ceiling, but you've got to be on the 3 here. So your choice would be to drop the chord altogether, and then coming back in, which doesn't sound good. So what I have been doing is I'm holding my B minor, but I'm just moving my ring finger. Moving my middle finger to the 3. You end up with a weird suspended sound. That's all I've been doing. I've just been grabbing the 3, pulling my middle finger off of where it's supposed to be, going down, grabbing that 3, and it sounds fine to me. Okay, I don't think there's a solution for it. Yeah, we don't have enough fingers. We don't have enough fingers. And this does happen in fingerstyle, more so on guitar than on ukulele. Well, on ukulele, because we only have 4 strings, we rarely run out of fingers. On guitar, it happens a lot. You guys have probably run into places already where you're just like, I don't know how to play that. So just move your middle finger down to the 3. Know that you've now created a whole different chord. Who even knows what it is? But it sounds kind of cool, and so that's what I would do. Measure 90. Yeah. So I'm keeping my bar on 2. I'm playing the B minor, which I have done at the end of measure 89, right? Or I've come into measure 89. Sorry. Mirrors. You're going to have to move your middle finger down to get the 3. On, back to 2. The ceiling So that's all I'm doing is I'm just moving this here. He's in the wrong spot, but you have to do something. And if you don't leave these down, then you end up with this 2 sound on the second string. Still, it sounds kind of cool. Okay, so it's a different chord ish, but it works. So just move your middle finger down to get those 3s, and that should get you. Remove the 5th string to free up a finger. Remove the 5th string. Oh, so Bill's idea is to not do a full bar there, but to do 4/4, 4/4. Does that work? 4/4, 3/3. Well, you could do that. Do it, kind of do it under like that. So lose that 5th string. That's another idea. Excellent idea, Bill. I like that idea too. Okay. It's not as murky and weird as my idea, but my idea is that it just, you grab the whole chord and leave it there. Once I make a bar, I don't like to let it go. Excellent questions. Good discussion, guys. Try those couple of ideas and see which one of those makes the most sense in your head. Okay, let's wrap it up tonight. I know we're over a little bit, Kat. We started a little bit, so hopefully give me 5 more minutes. Let's talk about the ending. Let's talk about the outro on page 9. What I have been doing with the outro on page 9, 10 is, and what I know I'm going to end up ultimately having to do is memorize these darn things. Okay, but they're very repetitive in nature. Okay, so your 10, 12, 11, that's your D minor shape on 10, which is super fun to play, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, sliding then down to 9 and 11. Pinky on 12. Isn't that fun? That's so fun. Okay. Next, you've got 10, 9, 10. So grab your 10, 9, 10. Again, leave your pinky open. Sevens and 9s. So cool. Okay. Go get your 7, 8, 7s. 5s and 7s. 8. And what's funky, that 8 is a natural one. It's supposed to be a sharp. And it just has this like, what? It's very mysterious sounding. And then measure 130, you're at 3, 5, 4. So 3, 5, 4. Again, that D minor shape, but you're on 3. And now you're going to jump to 6, 7, 6, which is right here. Gotta reach kind of far for the 9. Okay, and it feels like we're getting close to resolution on that 9, and then go grab your B minor. Let it ring out, and then hit the 5th string as your ending. You don't have to do that. That's probably dumb, but you definitely want that big B minor at the end. Okay, so I do think those arpeggios at the end, while they're not at all what they play in the recordings, they give you that sensibility about it because they're playing a pretty complicated, almost Spanish feeling thing. And these chords, when you get them going fast enough, and if you go listen to the recording, you'll hear them. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense that we would do that. And it's quite playable too. And you get to play way down here and add your pinky and stuff. So it's kind of fun. All right, let's see. Great discussions, guys. If you come up with some smart fingering ideas, take a picture of it and send me the image so that I can double check against what I'm doing and see. A lot of these cases, Christy's got some good ideas. Bill has some good ideas. And probably you've got a few ideas. And if you're, again, let me just one last time. you're playing this in whatever way makes sense to you. We're spending 2 weeks on it because it's 9 pages long, and it broke me. And so I need a week of not doing anything, guitar wise, arrangement wise. I got a number of choices that I'm working on right now. If you do have a piece, because you guys are the ones that are involved, the rest of the group's like, yeah, I'm just taking the summer off, and so you guys are the ones that are continuing playing guitar. If there's a song you want to do, please, please, please let me know. And if I can find decent sheet music on it, I will type it up. I don't, right at the moment, I've got a whole list of songs I want to get to, but I'm not married to any of them. And so, please make sure you are, in communication with me. I do need, if you say, hey, I want to do this song by this guy or whatever, I do need actual sheet music, and the chords and lyrics things don't work. It takes way too long to figure out that. So I need some actual sheet music. But if you have it in a book and you're like, I am so in love with this guy or this girl, and I want to play this song, photograph the pages out of a book, send them to me, and we'll type it up. It's it usually doesn't take as long as Hotel California. Most of the time, I can do a song in a day, and most of the time, sometimes it's a week, but most of the time, I can do it in a day. And as long as they've got good, strong melodies, they make really good, strong candidates for fingerstyle guitar. And you guys are guitarists, so you also have this really lush, rich chord ability to create chords at the same time as melody at a much more sophisticated level. And so I do think, let's have you be actively engaged in us picking some songs. Um, no reason why you can't have me type them up, right? And rather than you sitting and pounding your head out trying to figure it out, have me type it up. Do the first draft, and you go back through and play it, and then give me your revisions. So there's that. Let's see, Pele. I have heard this song before. Gary, I have heard this song before and just never really paid much attention to it. So, Pele, if you've heard this song and you didn't pay attention to it, don't talk about that in guitar circles. Somebody will rough you up. This is pretty high on guitarists' list of things you don't mess with. It's interesting. I'm having fun just trying to play all the chords and single notes. Thank you and aloha, Pele. This is a wonderful. It's got a fun melody. It's actually, the words are just on the edge of being wacko, so that which is typical of the Eagles, and I like the song a lot too. You guys are absolutely welcome, but do know I stressed over this because we got a couple of pretty fine, thoroughly knowledgeable guitar people, and I knew that they would have a fairly strong opinion. But I've heard from one of them, and he's okay with what we've done here. So. Um, Electric guitar players would probably come and tell me what an idiot I am, but I think this is going to sound beautiful on acoustic guitar as a solo piece, and hopefully it's making sense to you. So play it whatever way makes sense to you, and we'll work on it all next week. So Monday, and then we'll work on it again tomorrow at the midday section, and then Monday, and then I will see you again Thursday night for this. I'll invite you guys all in, and hopefully we'll get a couple other people to come join us. So keep it up, be in communication with me. I hear from ukulele players all the time. I hardly ever hear from guitar players. It makes me sad. I know how to play ukulele. I want to play guitar, and I want us to play guitar with you guys. And so please, don't be shy about asking me for stuff or seeing what else we can be doing to support you. I'm very serious about that. I want to keep you playing guitar and turning this into a thing. We've really, we've had to drop it for the summer, and guys, the virus is terrible, and I can't imagine. Well, I don't want. I guess I could imagine, but it's likely we won't meet in the fall too. Just to put it out there, if something doesn't change on this, and so the way we keep going is just taking this music and playing it at your highest possible level. If you're just doing chords, just do chords. If you're just playing melody, that's great. If you can start working in some tough acts a little bit, I think that it will just make you proud and make you feel like an awesome guitarist. So, all right, that's enough. I'm just rambling. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Thanks for all you guys being here. I think this is going to be I know, Christy. We're not. If they don't have a solution to this, if it's just, well, we should go back to eating in restaurants, that's not a solution to this. Is very dangerous thing that's going on in our lives. And so until a little clearer solution comes around, I don't know what we're going to do. So have a wonderful week, you guys. And I know, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I am saying it's on my worry list of things that I don't know what we're looking at in the fall. And I certainly, the one thing I am not going to have happen is to get all of us together. One of us is sick, then all of us are sick, and somebody gets really sick. And so I'm not going to be involved with that. So hopefully we'll have better options by the fall. So have a wonderful night, you guys. Let's not think about that. Let's think about playing a B minor chord cleanly. Let's think about that. So have a wonderful night, you guys. I'll see you next week, and thanks for your patience with today's broadcast. I will see and talk to you guys on the internets. Have a great night, you guys. Oh, I know. God, college is trying to figure this out. Oh, brutal. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful evening.